So for today's project, I've decided to make a tufted headboard for our aft cabin. Now, I've watched a ton of videos on YouTube on how to do this. There are many different ways, but here's my way. I got some mail today. I got the samples for the fabric that we are going to use in the aft cabin for the headboard. And the headboard, I have a vision. I have a vision of a tuft headboard that's going to be super plush and awesome and cozy and perfect. So let's see what we got. The first sample is from Ultra Fabrics. Little backstory on this. Originally, we decided leather would be a really cool option, but then after doing some research, decided that leather, while it's cool and everything, may not be the best for a marine climate. Wow, they're actually really, really soft. I mean, they're so soft. It's ridiculous. One thing I discovered in my research of fabrics was there's this whole spectrum of marine fabrics, but then there's outdoor marine fabrics and indoor marine fabrics. And I thought like it should just be this all-inclusive, everything gets wet all the time, everything should be outdoor rated. But that's not the case. There are several indoor fabrics that are just softer and more residential, I guess. They hold up well in marine climates because they have mold repellent properties. Well, I should probably take all these up to the boat and see how they go with the color scheme and the light, the natural light. It's kind of yellow in here, so I'm gonna go do that and hopefully make a decision, and then we can order the fabric, and I think I have everything else I need for this headboard project, so onward. This is the space where the headboard will go. Sorry, at this point it was a bit of a mess. I narrowed it down to 3 options and made a firm decision on this one.
What do you got there, Kelly?
My fabric came.
It's about time.
My Fako leather.
We gotta get rid of that ugly silver insulation in the back of the bed.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Oh, it's rolled inside out. I thought
makes sense.
that was the fabric and
It's
I was
like
gonna
cork.
die.
So, in our bedroom behind me, we have been storing some foam mattresses for quite some time because we ran out of room in the basement and they have to be stored a certain way, otherwise something bad happens. So we have been storing them in our bedroom, and it's time to cut one of them open because I'm going to use the foam for this cool tufted headboard that I'm making. Here they are. These ones here will be for our actual beds, and this one is kind of a scrap. I know because I've opened this before that it has layers to it, so I'm hoping to get a 3-inch layer out of this one and use that for the headboard. This is the part where I spill my coffee all over my laptop. Don't worry, we survived. Now that I got my workout in for the day, time to cut these bad boys out. Now, I've watched a ton of videos on YouTube on how to do this. There are many different ways, but here's my way. First, I think we should go through all the tools and supplies that you'll need. Here are all the items I think I will need to complete this project. Jury's still out. We may add more along the way. First, we have 1 1/2-inch sheet of plywood cut to size. You can see at the bottom there, it's actually contoured to the hole. Moving on down, we have 2 little foam mattress pads there, also cut to size, and some batting on top of that. We will also need a drill, measuring device, giant scissors, mallet, and adhesive. And then I'm gonna zoom in on these guys. We got these special order. Pretty cool little buttons here. And of course, the upholstery fabric. I got 2 yards, should be plenty to cover. And some other good things to have are this fancy stick and a template, because I'm a big CAD nerd and not at all confident in my eyeballing skills. I also apparently love having options. Also, when doing any project, don't forget about that one absolutely essential item that you somehow completely dismissed and now you have to go make a special adventure trip to purchase. Something that probably would have been really awesome to have would be an electric knife. So when I cut these mattresses, I used the corners so I was able to get a straight edge on 2 sides. However, the other sides are a little rough, but I don't think it'll matter too much once we have the batting in place. I would also recommend testing your tools and materials in advance if you are not already familiar with them. All right, this is a test.
This is a test. This is only a test
Of how well this works. That's not gonna work. Let's try it again. And finally, be sure to include one item in your project that you didn't think you needed and you didn't even really know existed until you've actually started your project. Giving this a go, no idea if it'll work or not. The internet says it will. So it kind of works, but I think the problem is that it's not sharp enough. Even though it's brand new. That's because I'm from Harbor Freight. Yeah, that's why. Oh, and don't forget about that one really obvious item that you will continue to lose throughout the entire process. First step, we got our plywood cut, and it's kind of a weird wonky shape with these angles here, but that's just to match the contours of the hull. We only really need about 2 foot 2 inches of this board to be the actual headboard, because the mattress will take up 8 inches right here. So to get that shelf effect for the mattress to butt right up against the headboard, I'm going to mark out where that 8-inch line is and then adhere the foam to the headboard with some spray adhesive, and then we'll do another layer. And I just want to make sure that that line is nice and clean, or as clean as I can get it to be, before we go any further. It is now time for the spray adhesive. Now this stuff stinks. It is like probably pretty toxic. I have a solution for that. If you decide to try this at home, I highly recommend putting something down before you spray glue all over your hardwood floor. Oh, that looks pretty good. Time for the second piece. Next step, I'm gonna lay out the grid, and this is the step that I probably have the most anxiety over. I came up with this. This is my CAD'd sketch of all the appropriate measurements I think we'll need. I've got my straight edge, this here, this template, and a Sharpie, of course, to mark everything out. So, fingers crossed. So, X marks the spot of where the button should go. I'm gonna mark that out now. And there we have it. There's the grid. I actually think that turned out pretty well. Next, I'm going to use this hollow punch This is a 1/2 inch diameter. Slap that on there. So that actually went pretty well. Yep, that's a hole. Okay, now I'm gonna do the rest of them. Now that I have all the holes drilled out, it is time for batting. So this stuff is pretty thin. The whole point is so it'll go around the perimeter and smooth out all these edges here. So I don't see the point in doing just one layer since we have enough for two. Maybe it'll make it extra smooth. Now it doesn't need to be pulled completely tight to compress the foam yet. That's what all the tufting will do. So first, I'm going to staple it in from the bottom. Given that this headboard will be in a marine environment, it's important to have the right metals. So I purchased some stainless steel staples here for the staple gun because this whole project's being held together by the staples. And it's important that they don't rust over time. We're just going to flip this over. And staple the backside. All right, just gonna flip this back over. So going to poke holes in here for the buttons to go through. So you can probably tell this foam definitely smoothed out quite a bit. As for the top, it looks so much better than it did before. Nice and smooth. It's going to look even better once the leather's on. All right. I think I'm pretty happy with this pattern and how it turned out. Way to go, grid. Okay, this is the other part that I'm super nervous about, mostly because this was expensive and I'm not really sure the quality of the product. Let's see how it is to work with. I do love this sort of marbling texture it's got. I think that's gonna look really great with all the tufts. Tufts? Tuftedness? I don't know. So my first reaction was, let's mark where the pin should go so that you're precise. But then, upon further research, realized once you stick the pin in and it sinks, then the hole moves. So you really kind of just have to go underneath, figure out where the hole is, stick your pin in, and go from there. Also, very important to start from the center because everything will kind of pull this way, and then work your way out and finish off with the ends, obviously. So that's the game plan. I'm a little nervous about this. I only got one shot with this fabric, so it's different with linen because you have a little bit more flexibility as far as your material not tearing a giant hole in it. These are pretty cool. They're rounded off little, basically giant thumbtacks, and they are also stainless steel, good for marine grade. I think they look pretty awesome with this fabric. I've found my middle piece. Just gonna press it in. That's not working. Chris is home for the day and he's gonna help me finish this.
Hi, and welcome to Crafting with Chris.
Chris had the brilliant idea of drilling pilot holes for the tacks, so we did a test piece just to see how that would pan out.
Make a tester. All right, Kelly, pull that out.
Nope.
Try it. You gotta try. What if it just went boop?
That would suck.
It would suck.
You try.
No problem.
I want you to try. I like the sound effects.
Nope, can't do it. Yep, that's on there.
All right, let's go knock this out.
It's a great success.
And now, back to crafting with Chris.
Today, we're building a headboard. It's gonna be tufted. Kelly, I'm gonna need your help on this first step.
Okay.
We need to make holes so that when we nail in our little pretty hammer nail heads, that they'll go right in. And we won't get frustrated and punch a wall.
Or the board.
Kelly got a little angry and increased the size of this hole.
Just a bit.
I tell you, man, every time you got a project, you think, no sweat, we're knock this out in a half hour. There's no way.
Whatever. You can punch this board all you want. It won't hurt your hands. It's upholstered.
It's so plush.
It's not, what is this? It has
Foam.
foam. It's
And
been
batting.
foamed and batted.
The pilot holes were a huge success, although definitely a very painful and tedious process.
And there, you've made a big brown butthole.
There? You don't like how much guesswork is part of this.
That looks good to me. This job was definitely a team effort, and I am so thankful to have a second pair of hands and another brain involved to be able to figure this all out.
Open up your hole real good. You know, like, tight holes are overrated. You want one that's a little looser so you can see what you're doing. Really get in there with the headlamp and explore.
So after fooling around a bit, we came up with a decent, although very painful, strategy.
And we're back. Now it's time to put in the nails. As you see here, we've already done some. The technique that works the best is to finger the hole from one side and then locate where that's going to be with the nail and then puncture the leather. Lay it back over, open your hole real wide, and find your pilot, the hole within a hole. Then take your nail, shove it down in there until you find it, and violently insert it. Flip it over, keeping it in. Never pull out. Press down as hard as you can with your thumb until you feel like it's gonna break in half. The nails came through a little bit, which is awesome because now we can do this.
Provide little cleats.
And they'll never move. It's almost done, Kelly.
Almost. Your arms look so big.
It's not just looks.
Chris then helped me tighten down the edges and then the top. We arranged the folds as we went along.
Look at that.
Now the corners were a bit of a struggle. We ended up sort of butterflying the excess material on the back, stapling that down, then cutting off the fabric parallel to the board and stretching that fabric over the corner, while simultaneously arranging the folds of our pleats on the front side.
Corners by Chris.
Yeah!
As for the folds in the pattern itself, we found the material to be much less forgiving than I had anticipated, which is probably great in terms of durability, but not so great in getting that perfect pleat. And lastly, the bottom. We just stapled this piece right up into the line created by the foam.
There she blows, Kelly. One upholstered headboard.
Wow!
We should put it in the boat. This is it. This is the official first Kelly-led project.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Ah. I'm so excited about this.
That's because it's cool looking.
It's very cool.
And it's going to make this space look so much more polished.
Yes.
If it fits.
God, that would suck. Like a glove.
That's pretty great, Kel.
Wow.
You did great work.
Holy shit.
Let's not start that crap. What do you think?
I'm giddy with joy. This is awesome. I love the color. I love the texture.
Yep, that turned out about how I pictured it in my mind.
Excellent.
You're the champion of the video. A victory. This is pretty awesome.
Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Also, down below, write a little comment and tell Kelly how awesome this looks, because I'm pretty damn impressed. I don't know about you. You guys don't get to feel it and smell it. It smells of faux leather. Actually, it really stinks in here right now because there is a 2-part polyurethane paint curing in the background that I'm going to finish up right after we finish filming this little segment. And we're both really freaking high.
Hey you, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw and you want to keep following along, become a subscriber. Just hit that subscribe button below.
You know what? I think I'll allow this to be in my boat because it looks real sharp.
Your boat.
Yes, my boat. Possession.
You look like a mushroom.
I am a mushroom. That's what's weird about it.